Hello, dear ones. I am Eleonora, and this is the Awakening Path Show, the place where you come to expand your consciousness. And today, this podcast will be all about the awakening path of a dear friend called Joe Ruska and how he found healing through unconditional love. Let's learn about Joe and what is awakening process, what to expect, and let's find out more about him in a while. Let's meet him. If you have any question or wants to share your own story with us, please use the chat on the chat box. Hi, Joe. Welcome to the Awakening Path.
How are you, Eleonora?
It's a pleasure to have you here today. And as I understood about your story, you have a pretty common life, working like in the 8 to 5 job, have kids, have family, and suddenly you find out there's, let me look for something else. And then what happened?
Yeah, so I mean, it's been a really rocky road for a lot of my life. Don't get me wrong, this has not come into an easy spot. Um, my kids, I was divorced from my wife, probably like 10, 15 years ago. And I went from that relationship right into another relationship without healing. And I definitely brought a lot of things from my mom and my stepdad into the relationships that I is currently going through, and it didn't work out right. So basically, in between these relationships, I would find myself learning about spirituality. Uh, Actually, even became part of one of the normalized churches in my area, and realized that that wasn't for me either.
That wasn't the
And
path.
yeah, and so it's once I uh uh my fiance and I kind of parted ways. The last one is when I already knew that I needed to be on a more spiritual path. I had left that church, and they kind of shunned me out of the whole neighborhood, the whole community, everywhere I went. Like nobody would talk to me. I even feel like sometimes my kids were under the stuff as well, and it was really hard to deal with as an individual because nobody would
Oh,
really talk to me.
let's slow down a little bit, Joe, because I can resonate with that. So you are saying that you were expelled from the church you were in.
So I decided, just because like I went through situations where it didn't seem like that was from God, you know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
and so I took myself out of that church. I just signed a little paper, said I want my name and all my information took out of your system. And when I handed that paper to him, he's like, "Is there anything you want to say to me or about this?" And I'm just like, "No, I'm gonna keep this between me and God." And he's like, "I'm really jealous." And so,
So
go ahead.
I think I misunderstood. You said that the church kind of blackmail. Why people stop talking to you?
Because I feel like they knew that I was different, or they knew more about me than they really wanted to let let people understand. Um, and so I didn't really understand, really, like totally. I don't know. You know what I mean? But that's kind of what led me to the journey that I'm on right now.
Yes, I think it's worth to tell you something very interesting. I think you know this book, A Course in Miracles. Do
Yes.
you know that book?
Yeah, so it's kind of crazy because like before I met you, I think I bought that book at a used bookstore, and I read it occasionally. I find myself reading a little bit here and there. There was another book that actually went along with that, and that's like the
Oh,
keys.
is A Year of Forgiveness.
Okay. No, well,
Yeah, this book,
okay.
there is many companion books for that one, but this one has the commentaries of Jesus for each lesson. And this book I'm translating to Portuguese, and it will be ready in about 12 days.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Yes. So actually, the person that wrote this book is called Tina Louise Spalding, and she channels Jesus, and also her teachers and guides, that's called Ananda. And I just had an insight. I was working with the homeless ministry in a church, and I have that insight. It was Christmas, so let me give them some gifts. And Jesus gave me the idea, give some of Tina's book to them. I knew it didn't end up that good because they are all channeled book, but I did anyway. And I was invited to leave the ministry.
Really.
Yes. But that's okay because I think even though I was out of the ministry, I think it's have a good had an impact in the life of each person that I gave the book. So it's kind of shake the reality a little bit. But let's go back to you. So what happened when you decided that to take another step in your spiritual awakening and say, I want really to start to understand myself and get to know the truth for who I really am.
Yeah, so I mean, it took a lot because when you go through the kind of humility type things that they kind of put you through, you become kind of depressed and like full of anxiety. I mean, you don't know when you're going to get your next money, or like nobody is there to help you. So basically, I started going to counseling and taking medicine for all this stuff, and started meditating and doing all the meditating, and then kind of got a intuition, like a hit that like maybe I'm supposed to go to like an ayahuasca retreat. And so before the ayahuasca retreat, I was kind of doing a little microdose on some mushrooms, and it wasn't like I was taking heavy doses. It wasn't like I was trying to like go into any other external areas. Like I just, was looking for, to find a way to beat the depression with the mushrooms. And so, I did it a few times, and I didn't really see anything to, I just everything was brighter, happier. Life was starting to look up, and like I was starting to receive, kind of my sovereignty back, if you will. And
Mhm.
there was one day, it was October 15th. I found the date actually, that this day was so profound to me. And it it kind of shaped the paved the way for basically all the magic that's happened this far in my life. It was October 15th, 2024. I was kind of called to take this mushroom, a small dose of mushrooms, and it's what I would generally do is take the mushrooms. When I started to feel a little bit, I would go lay down in my room and put some headphones in and throw on some frequencies. And the frequencies were like DNA repair, and there was just all kinds of different frequencies frequencies that would actually help
So
me.
you are doing the mushrooms with the intention of healing yourself, rise your vibration and healing through vibration.
Exactly.
Very
And
good.
every intention was definitely geared toward a specific like area in my life that I wanted to shift. And
Yeah.
so like October 15th was totally different than any other. I didn't expect what was happening because I totally was in the mindset of, you know, uh, doing my regular, normal, lay in bed with the frequencies. On this day, like it told me to go take a bath, and it blew me away. It's the last thing in the world that I ever wanted to do, and so I just did it. You know what I'm saying? And kind of
Mhm.
what took place in that bath was something that was totally different from any other deal that I have ever experienced in my life. But what I had experienced kind of made light on everything that's happened in my past from as a child all the way up until then and then further, right? So then you start to understand and then you start to see the things. And so is what happened is I felt like when I got in the bath, it's like I stood like I was in an arena and like I s- I was at the top of the arena coming out kind of like a king would, when he's kind of, doing his thing. And it's like when I stepped out, like the whole arena erupted. Like it was the most craziest, amazing feeling that I've ever had in my life. And that's when I heard I'm like, what's going on here? What's why is everybody so happy to see me? You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's exactly how I felt. Like, why is everybody so excited to see me? And then I heard like I got like an intuitive hit. Like this was plain as day. It said Prince of Peace. And so at that point I kind of understood that my higher self is Prince of Peace. And it it took me a long time to really ingest what I had gone through at that point. But I know that that's exactly what God wanted from this whole situation. Like, and I'll tell you right now, like from that moment on, my life has gotten so magical in so many different ways that it's just undeniably the way it is what it is, right? Like it just is. And so
Oh, that's amazing. Before you continue, I just would like to explain to people that are watching. I think many of you already heard the term star seed, but I'm gonna put it in a simple way. All the souls that are incarnated on Earth right now, you can separate in two categories. I don't really like to label, but that's how it works. They are the old souls that people call newbie souls, and there are the old souls. The newbie souls is simply mean that you're just you decided to separate from source for the first time, maybe a couple thousand years ago. Something like that. You have your first incarnation straight to earth. That's all you know. And in 1945, when the Second World War happened and the nuclear bombs, Earth was in a very hard place where it was it was not having enough light to be able to go to the fifth dimension at this point. So there was an SOS sent to the universe. Earth needs help. And what happened? Souls, beings from all over the multiverse decided to come and incarnate on Earth. Earth is a place of free will. Actually, all the incarnational realms, everything that's after you leave source is ruled by the free will. Free will is an universal law. So it's not allowed for no one, archangel, angels, or extraterrestrials, to come to world in development and just give them information that they are not ready yet, that they cannot assimilate. So they could not just come and say, look, you are creating war when you are watching war movies. They couldn't come just in a shopping mall and start speaking to the crowd. So the idea was to infiltrate from within. So many of us, many of you that you are watching, probably you are an old soul if you are watching still now. That means you decided to come to Earth to help rise the vibration. And sometimes you don't even, the first ones, they didn't even have any specific mission, something that they had to do. They just needed to be around, just for them to be anchored here on the planet. They were already rising the vibration all around them. Dolores Cannon, the books behind me, tell all about that. And the old souls, there are many categories that I like to say. For example, there are some that are here that came here to just explore. Somehow they found the wheel of karma, and they have been here repeating themselves for thousands of years. But now, because the vibration of the planet is rising, they are waking up and they broke the cycle of karma and they are realizing who they are now. That's one group. And another group that actually is operating many are the volunteers. Doris Cannon has a whole book about them. She tell only about the three ways, but there are another wave that are kids right now. And basically, we come here without any karmic ties. We came here completely free to live your mission. But and then people like to say, especially the ones that are starting the spiritual thing, they say, oh, if you have a bad mother or if you have like something bad happen to you, it's because you have a loss of karma. But actually things doesn't work exactly this way, because those old souls, when they come here, in order for them to do their mission, let's say I have a friend that she had a very, very traumatic childhood, and things that all the traumas that she went through, and now she's awakened. So she was able to heal all of them. So now she has, by experience, she's able to relate to all the other thousands, millions of people that went through the traumas that she went. So she chose to have all those trauma so she can really relate, because it's different when you live something and when you just know. So many times when you have those awakening, like Joe just said, you realize first that you are an old soul. And you literally can come, your soul can come from anywhere. Some come straight from the angelic realm, others come from other planets, living in other planets. But one thing is true, to incarnate on Earth, this soul needs to be vibrating at least in the sixth dimension. This soul. And then I say, oh my goodness, there are people reincarnated that I think they are in one or two vibration dimension. They are really not involved. Because you come here and then you have, and there is so many density, there is so many negativity, and so you lower your vibration. But when you wake up, oh, after the fifth dimension, you are unconditional love and one with everything. So that's what happened to Joe. He realized that he is an old soul, and after that he started to unveil who he really is, and I think he's still in this process, and I'll give the word back to him. So after you find out about your higher self, that you are the peace, the Prince of Peace, and I don't know if many people know about what it really means to be the Prince of Peace. Maybe I can explain a little bit more on who is God and who are each one of us. It works like that. God is all it is. In the beginning, there was only God, and everything was God until God decided to experience himself, because it started becoming boring. So first he perceived himself as three: the Father, the Son, and many religions call the Holy Spirit. But actually, the Holy Spirit is the Mother, because in nature, everything that there is a Father and a Son needs to have a mother. Where is the mother from the creation? Needs to have a mother. So there is a mother. And so it was experienced on the first realm. Let's go a little bit down and experience a little more. So it's created the 7 major universes. And all those 7 universes, of course, everything that there is has consciousness. So each universe has a consciousness for each one, that at the same time they perceive themselves as individualized consciousness of the whole. But when they look to themselves, each one of them have the ability to connect back to source and perceive the whole, perceive them as complete, as one. And then they decided to come down a little bit more to the one more dimension, and then they created there was the 12 creations, and then each one of the 12 creations also, if you go one level up, it's combined in the 7th creation, and then it goes one more, and then the Trinity, and then God. So when you start to join and going up and up and up, you are God. That's why people say you are God. And then you keep going down until we get here to the 3rd dimension. That's us here in the body. So what happened is many of us experiencing ourselves. For example, everything that is has a consciousness. So many people say that the consciousness of Jesus is actually was the logos of our major universe. And at the same time, Archangel Michael, he is the responsible, it's like the manager that helps organize everything here on our local universe. But in the sense, they are 2 aspects of the same thing. That's when sometimes you hear that Archangel Michael and Jesus is the same. But when you go up and up and up, actually the first son, because God created just one son, the first son actually is Jesus, is the same consciousness of Jesus. And then it goes trim down. So I don't know if I explain or make more confused. So every one of you, old soul or new soul, you have an angelic aspect of you. Every single one has an angelic aspect of you. The difference of the new souls is they decided to separate it from the first time, and they start as mineral, vegetable, animal, and now they're going up and up until they ascend all the way back. And the older souls, they already all the way, they evolved all the way to source, so they are in the fourth dimension or whatever. Now they come here and project themselves here, so they can help ascend, help at this moment. So, Joe, after you have that revelation, what you were inspired to do next?
So, it was like October 15th, like I said, and so I was already going to a retreat, an ayahuasca retreat, which was at the end of October. And so I went to that retreat, and it was actually in Sedona. There was a few people there, a lot of them women. There was a couple of gentlemen there. But we had this healing circle one day, and it was so crazy how cool, like everything was aligned in that circle. And there's so many, individuals that I still like. Those are like my soul family, if you will. I feel really connected to them, and like they like totally, I don't know what kind of stuff they seen when I was there, but there was one of them that had mentioned, like, like, because I went and got my aura read, and when I came back and shared that with them, like the one of the guys had mentioned that I had like a golden aura, and by the picture that I was looking at on the photo was totally different from the way it was showing, so. And it's not the first time that I've actually, I was incarcerated one time, and this kid came up to me and told me, like, you have a golden aura. He's like, I don't know what it is about your aura, but it is amazing. And so, like, there's like these little things in life that keep showing me, like, this is who you are, this is who you are. And I got numerous things that I've went through, but that's probably for another day. But I went to that Sedona, and like the amount of healing that took place in that circle was quite profound. And I honestly feel like if we were to get like all those individuals together, they would definitely agree with that situation.
Can you
So.
give us one example? Some people that watch my channel, they are already in the spiritual path, but
Mhm.
others are listening for the first time, but they are curious. So when you are in a healing circle, circle when people have that ability to heal, and the people in the circle are willing to receive, but what type of healing they needed? Can you give us some example? An
So,
example.
yeah, so like it was just a healing circle, and the facilitator there was kind of taking, charge of most of the healing. Like I was literally just playing authentically different types of instruments. For example, the singing bowls, and like there was a there was a gong there, and I'll tell you, every time somebody hit that gong, it just woke me up even more. Like it was so amazing how every time
Oh,
somebody hit that gong, like I would just like, sorry about that.
that's okay.
I would just totally light up, and it was so cool, the whole energy of
Yeah,
everything
actually,
that
what
took
I'd
place.
like to ask is there was like healing people with depression, or there was also physical healing.
So like honestly, I really feel like I just activated a lot of them. Like I like I don't necessarily understand what I healed them, but like it was like I activated them in a sense that they were healed. Like I didn't totally understand like everything, but it was crazy to me to think that, and I don't, once again, like like I just feel like I'm a vessel. So like I didn't do it. Like it was just they used my vessel as a way to heal these
Yes,
individuals. Yeah.
it's the channel.
Yeah.
So that happened, which year was that?
So that was almost a year ago. Yeah.
Well, it's been, sometimes you can see it's a long time, other time it's not really enough time to really assimilate everything and decide, okay, now what I do with all of this, how you are adjusting in your life and deciding what's the next step.
So I'm just literally being guided. So after Sedona, I went back to work and I was doing a little bit of work, and one of the ladies that I was there in Sedona with had put this little uh deal for it was the LA Conscious Live Expo. She put it up, and then I kind of looked through it a little bit and I didn't really think anything of it. But then she put it up again like a couple weeks before, and something really caught my attention. And so I totally was like, "Hey, I'm gonna manifest. I'm gonna go see some aliens." And I'll tell you right now, I did. You know Daryl Anka? Yeah,
Sorry,
you know Daryl Anka,
that.
the guy that he channels Bashar.
Oh, yes, yes. I went to see him. Yes, I saw
Yeah,
him.
so while I was there, I actually got to take a selfie with Bashar, Daniel Anka. And not to mention, I met Shaheen Jardine and then another guy, Dave Fox there. And Shaheen actually got me introduced to his program, which is where I met you.
Yeah,
And so it's like crazy how everything just plays out the way that it's supposed to play out. And
yes. I think energetically something happened after that fair. I think a portal opened or something because the year before, all my childhood friends was drifting away, and I had like one friend, just one friend that I could talk to. And after that fair was like unbelievable. Sometimes there is a week that I met five new people that I can speak about anything and crazy things, and they don't think I'm crazy.
right,
Does
yeah.
is that happen to you too after February?
So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff, like a lot of the stuff that I talk about, like I try to talk to about it with my family, and they just look at me like I'm like weird. Like, and that's basically everybody that I was
Okay.
kind of involved with over there in that area. And it was really hard for me to, resonate with anybody. Um,
I know how it is. Well, I have seven brothers, and only one, only one is in the same path as me. With him, I can talk about anything. With the others, I can talk about nothing.
it makes it tough,
And it just needs to respect because everyone is in that one path,
right?
and information is kind of dimensional. You cannot talk of five-dimensional information for somebody that's rooted on the third. It's too much of a gap. They're not going to understand. Or they are not ready to understand. This will be too scary for them.
Right. Yeah.
And as far as you'll find out that now you have that ability to change people's frequency, to really connect with them and help them heal themselves. Are you already offering any service? Are you practicing and doing some healing? I know you did one for me on my sacral chakra, and I tell you that it's really work. We always need a little bit more cleansing, and How is that working for you at this moment? What are your
So
plans?
honestly, like I really haven't, and I really feel like it's because I feel like some things came up, and I want to be totally clean and clear headed with everything, and so I feel like it was the universe saying, hey, no, you still have some things to do, and so like I traveled, like I went to Mount Shasta. I just did this. It was like a 2-day trip. It was like I think in January. And then after that, like I said, I went to the Conscious Live Expo, where I met some other people, kind of aligned some things there. Um, and I'm trying to think. In March, I went to Costa Rica to another retreat by the same group, met some more people, did more work there, and um, and then after that, um, the the last little deal that I went on, I drove from Salt Lake City. Well, I moved from Idaho Falls and sold my business and sold my house, and I tried for so long to sell my house, and I couldn't get it to sell. I couldn't get it to sell like 2 years, and then finally I made a decision to switch the realtor real quick into a more spiritual individual. And as soon as I made that switch, the house sold within a week. And so like everything just kind of played out. Like it was so crazy how cool it played out. And so that was about the same time that I went to Costa Rica. After Costa Rica, I came back. We kind of did some things. And then it was like about a month ago, 2 months ago, that I went from Utah to Oklahoma City, did like a 27-hour meditation there, which I feel like we kind of help each other out, if you will.
Yeah,
So she helped clear a bunch of stuff from my energy field that I've been she said that I had like 3 witches working on me at that point. And she could actually tap into my guides, and she got a whole breakdown of all these different meditations that I needed to do in order to clear that stuff from me. And then from there, I went to Texas, where I was part of a retreat there. It was a Cambo Bufo retreat, code medicine, and it was phenomenal. That time I did the Bufo, which cleans you out and cleans your spiritual vessel out. And then the Bufo, or the Cambo is the one that cleans you out. The Bufo is kind of like a DMT, the Toad DMT, 5-MeO is what it is, and it's administered in a sacred space, cleansed, and everything is totally sacred at that point. But like in that experience, and I got this on video, but it's like the most amazing feeling that I've ever went through at that point. Like and I see myself die and come back to life, and the whole thing is like I literally felt like I was sitting right there with God in that beautiful energy, and like the whole feeling is just like something so amazing. Like I can't even begin to explain how cool it
yeah,
is.
that's amazing. But what I understand, I realize is looks like your dark night of the soul it's really happened way before your awakening really started. Because after you have that revelation of your higher self, looks like things just went like great. Of course, we still have things to clean up, but it has been like a beautiful journey of healing yourself and integrating those energies. Do you see this way, or you had some and so my goodness, I cried a lot. I didn't know what to do. I have some, there is really hard things that happen to some people sometimes when the light really wants to move through, and just
Yeah,
there is too many traumas yet. But looks
like
like you kind of work on the traumas before, and when it's happened, you still have things to clear, but it's went in a smooth way.
yeah,
Do you agree with it?
Before I went to Oklahoma City, my son actually was in a super bad car wreck, and it was terrifying to see him in a position like that. Although I know that he was super heavily protected through that whole thing, um, it still was kind of a hard thing for me to see. But I feel like it was all part of the whole bigger picture, if you will, right? I need to
Yes,
let go of this individual that I love so much and allow God to do His will with him. And honestly, I didn't learn that until probably about a month ago. And once I let go of that control over trying to control him, things just have been so much better. I
yes,
perceive my son in such a different way now that I feel is actually helping him rather than um, hindering him.
yes. So as you see, if you are awakening, don't be scared. Just trust in the process and really connect with your higher self and listen to your intuition. Because when that happens, it's only happened because you're already ready. You're ready to really embrace the truth of who you are, and you are not alone. I like to say that there is like a legion of light beings in the other side for each human being that is in this planet right now. And Joe, it's been about a year, but he's just in the beginning. He's finding out everything that he needs to find out, put, I like to say, the house in order. And I know that pretty soon you're gonna really understand what is your mission at this moment and how you fit in on our ascension process of the planet and the uplifting of humanity. Because if you that are watching, if you don't know, we are going through a very, very special moment in the history of the multiverse. There are many cycles that are completing at this time. And when I say at this time, I'm talking about less than 50 years. It's really here. So I like to say our moon rotates around the sun, around the earth. Now here is earth. Now here's the sun rotate and earth rotates about the sun. Now the sun rotates around Alcyone. Who, if you don't know who Alcyone is the central sun of the Pleiadian constellation. And guess what? From Earth, we see 7 stars, but actually the Pleiades doesn't have only 7 stars, have 8. And guess who is the number 8? Is our sun, our dear helium investor. So we are all Pleiadians too. I got to the realization by myself, and then I received so many confirmations. So how awesome is that? So, and then you say, how about the Sirius star? There are 3 big stars, one bigger than the others. And then while Alcyone moves here around the central sun, those 3 stars, they just move side by side Alcyone, like sisters, side by side. So you say Earth, the moon takes 28 days to make a complete loop around our Earth. Earth, 365 days. And then the sun to do a complete loop around Alcyone, it's taken a little less than 26,000 years. And the whole Pleiadian constellation takes about 225 million, I forgot, it's a lot of years, it takes a long time. It's more than 200 light years, 200,000 light years, something like that. I have a video where I explain all that, you can see. But the point is, there is a photon belt that moves straight from the central sun, past the Sirius star, make a loop around Alcyone, and all the other stars that orbits Alcyone will cross this belt twice. This belt has a very high vibration, and only things that vibrate at least in love are able to cross this belt or stay in this belt. That's why Earth sent the SOS. I don't have enough light because the humans on the planet was lowering the vibration of the planet itself so much that the planet itself was not having enough light to move through those belts. The last time, the measure of humanity didn't have enough light to cross the belt. Earth itself still had it. And guess what happened was the fall of Atlantis. Atlantis fell because the majority of humanity, of the population, they were not, their vibration was not high enough to cross the belt. That's one of the reasons. So, and we are about to get in here now. And then because the plan of bringing the star seeds to incarnate here and rise the vibration of the planet, because we have been so successful. We started in 1946, and I think it was 1987, Earth reached the vibration enough to cross the belt. And then everybody in the multiverse got excited because, wow, now we can take as many humans with the planet. Let's try it. It's the first time in the history of the multiverse that a planet is moving from the third dimension to the fifth dimension with a great amount of its population. That's happening for the first time. The whole multiverse has all the eyes on Earth right now. And there is lots of beings over there that want so bad an opportunity to be here in the body and do this work. And all of us that are here, we are here with a mission to help people awaken and integrate that energy to be able to cross that balance. So I'm really sure you're going to play a very important role in all of this movement. And I'll be very happy to be by your side and help co-create that reality that many of us, if you go, oh my goodness, there is so many star seeds out there. Just go to TikTok, Instagram. Everybody's waking up and talking about chakras, talking about energy. It's talking about things that's really the average humans would not be talking about until they are immersed in the matrix. That want just to keep them on fear. But guess what? Fear is 100. Love is 500. We need to break away from the fear. Because if you don't break away from the fear, how on earth you'll be able to cross that belt that vibrates in 500? You can't. Right. So we are here really to shake things out. And the fourth wave of volunteer that Dolores Cannon does not talk about because she wrote her book, I think, maybe less than 10 years ago. And those kids are just starting to come. They are many of the autistic kids and all the ones that they are not, they are in the spectrum. So they come here to really break those systems. They just don't fit in. They don't fit in. Doesn't matter what you do, you can punish them, you can do whatever you try to do. Punishment to work with the previous generation. So we really adapt to you conform, but they came, I like to say that they come with a button that say do not comply. And that button is on. And there is no way to remove it. There is no way to turn off. That's very exciting, Joe. I
Yeah.
want to keep in touch with you. I want to know more about what this path is leading you. And later on, you can come and talk more about. Let's see if we have any question here. I
I
just have
definitely,
someone here. Thank you, Jennifer. And what I would like to tell you that is watching us, I know that interesting things are happening to lots of people
yeah,
that don't try to ask to the medical system because they don't know about. They may give you a pill to make it go away,
like,
but it won't explain anything. But don't worry, actually, I'm being guided to do more videos about the ascension process and ascension symptoms. And
yeah,
many people really have ascension symptoms.
a lot.
Would you say that you had many ascension symptoms? Can you talk a little bit if you have any?
Me? Oh yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, like there will be nights when I get like there was a night when I was getting massive headaches like in the middle of the night and my blood pressure was going up quite a bit. I started getting heart palpitations, like feeling really anxiety. Like there's a lot that goes into this ascension process. And it's not easy. But there are steps to take to go ahead and, make these things better for you. If you're aware of what's going on, it's part of the ascension process, then you can go outside and ground, you can do meditations that help you ground. I mean, there's so many things, sound baths, that will help you ground. There's just a lot of things. Also, eating light.
And also the thoughts. The thoughts is play a real role, like really just go in the bathtub with Epsom salt, it's already help a lot.
Yeah, yeah, Epsom salt, great one. And I've been doing that a lot, probably too much. I kind of stopped a little bit when my blood pressure got up a little higher because the salt was like literally making it worse. But yeah, no, salt water bath, I love it. Um, yeah,
Yes.
there's a lot. You definitely, so when you're going through these symptoms, I feel like there's things that you are coming forward that you have to kind of work on. You kind of got to let it go, alchemizing the feeling, of course, and asking, God and the angels, whatnot, to help you, switch that feeling, alchemize it from that feeling into unconditional love. And once I started doing that, like it's helped out so much, and it helps out quite rapidly. So like no no faster than you say it, like it just starts happening. And so it's all been a learning curve for me. Um, Also, once again, eating light and staying away from a lot of sugar and stuff like that is definitely going to help out too. So
Yes, and if let us know if you have any ascension symptoms. I think the worst I had was a back pain. It was hurting so bad that I was for maybe 3 or 4 hours. I had to stay lying down, and every minute or so it would be like a very, very sharp pain. It was, I know, was lunchtime, and I couldn't even lift the spoon. So my daughter had to feed me. That was as bad it was. And then when it was very sharp, it's, oh, please, Archangel Raphael, I'm need you here right now. But I knew it was an adjustment because your chakras are all aligned on your spine. And in order for the light to move through all the way through your spine, they need to be aligned. So if there is any, you think that's just physical, the spine, oh, it's just correct here and there. It's all energy. So the energy, the blockage, the dense energy, the low vibration thoughts and energy is what is causing the dysfunction on the on the spine. So that was really a cleansing of that energy to align my spine so the light would be able to move through. And I knew all of that. I think another person would think, oh my God, I need to rush to the doctors. And then they promise, oh, you need an emergency surgery. But I knew what was going on. So I just take in, I pray, and said, okay, I need some help here because it's really painful. But next day, I was okay. And yes, I did took some pain pill. It's okay to do. You don't have to endure everything. That's fine. I took some pain pill. When I was really bad, I took some, and it's fine. But it's just about being self-consciousness and really don't freak out and know that everything is always happening for your highest good. And so far, I haven't heard around absolutely anyone that is in that awakening process and died of the dark night of the soul, of an ascension process, ascension symptoms. I never heard of no one. So it'll be painful, uncomfortable, and more you resist, more uncomfortable you get. But if you resist, you will connect, you ask for help, you meditate, and then things will just get smooth and smooth.
Become more alive.
So guess what? We are almost 1 hour. Is there anything that you'd like to talk about? It can be anything.
Honestly, I think Christ consciousness is kind of where I'm at with the whole situation. Becoming more aligned, and obviously enlighten, everybody because we all have these gifts inside of us,
Yeah.
and they just are stuck down, way deep, under fear and kind of being put in a box that the world has kind of put us in, and it's time for us to kind of wake up and come out of that box and heal those wounds so that when the earth does raise the frequency, these ascension symptoms aren't so, you know they don't work you over in a sense that you have to go to the doctor and receive that pill, that will be able to like totally equip you with exactly what you need, to go through those types of situations, to make it a little bit easier for yourself.
Yes. Joe, it was an absolutely pleasure to get to know you a little bit more. I know there will be a lot of things that is unveiling for you, and I'm excited to know more about what this path is taking you. For now, I want to thank everyone that is watching now and also that you will watch later. And Joe, do you have a final words for us? What would you like to tell to people that are watching?
I don't really have anything besides love is the key. Love will save this earth. And the more that we vibrate in the love frequency, the easier this transition will be for everybody.
Yes, I agree. I totally agree. Thank you so much. And thank you that is watching. And see you on the next episode of the Awakening Path Show.
Thanks, Eleanor. I appreciate your time for sure.